Did you know that your brand is the most important tool in your toolbox when it comes to attracting the right prospects, getting results for your marketing, and growing your business? So here's the question for you. Why do so many people make mistakes during the brand building process? Well, in fairness, and what we're going to talk to you about today, it's really not your fault if you're making those mistakes, but it is your responsibility to fix it. So, in this episode, we are discussing two common mistakes made by most coaches, creators, and experts about building their brand and how to turn those around quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to start by talking about the fact that most people don't really realize they're making mistakes. And I think that is like an umbrella that covers the whole point. So let's just assume, though, that you are making mistakes in your brand. The first one is going to surprise you. Tanya asked, why do so many people make these mistakes during the branding process? This is the biggest. They don't actually build their brand. They usually just create a few materials that they feel represent their brand. And then they skip over those fundamentals that actually are a part of building a culture, which is what your brand is, an ecosystem, Tanya says. For instance, the first thing that a lot of people do, most of us, I was guilty of this also, was they create a logo. Oh, what about the logo? Oh, the logo. I have to have a logo. And then they pour over some clever tagline that they think is just going to attract a bunch of people just because they spoke it. And then they go get a photo shoot. But they tend to do this without regard to the actual story, the image that they're trying to portray. And that's where the magic sauce begins. It's not in just those materials and elements, we call them. There is a deeper dive that is required if you really want to be attractive to your customers and your clients.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't get us wrong. Logos and photos and taglines, they are an important part of the brand, but ask yourself first, right? What message or image are you trying to convey with that logo, that tagline, and that photo? In other words, who are you trying to attract? And what is the language? What's the imagery that you need to use in order to attract that person? Mm-hmm. And of course, that also depends upon your point of differentiation. And that's why that deep dive is required, right? You need to know before you create some of those elements of your brand, you need to know what sets you apart from everybody else who's also trying to attract that same prospect that you're trying to attract.
Mm-hmm. I literally had this happen today. Phone call with a person. I've known them for many years. They've got a piece of property for sale. They want to call me. I want you to sell this piece of property. I'm like, that sounds great. I can help you. Why did you choose me? And he said, your branding is better than anybody's. Literally said it.
Interesting.
So the second big mistake that people make during the building process, the actual building process, is getting mixed up between building a brand and promoting a brand. Okay. So the first mistake was like, they're not even actually building it. They just have a few elements. Now it's very confusing with the world out there and the language that a lot of people use in the building versus promoting. Most people believe that getting into a social media platform, working on their video marketing programs, these things are going to help them build their brand. You literally could go to Wix and the website builder, and they will tell you, we will help you build your brand. No, they won't. They will help you build a website. That's what they do, right? So the social media and video and all of those places that you're going to show up, they're not building your brand. They're places you promote your brand. Your website is a place you promote your brand. All of your channels, your LinkedIn, promote your brand. Billboards, radio, TV, any other advertising, promoting your brand. It's not building it. You have to actually go through the steps of building it first.
Well, that is if you want to make any money off of it, right?
And track that money.
And that's what we mean by building a profitable personal brand, right? And that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this episode, that it's not your fault because you're led a lot of times by people out there advertising all these marketing tools disguised as brand builders. Mm-hmm. And that's what leads people down the wrong path more than anything else, right? And it's not that they're intentionally trying to lead you down the path. Maybe they don't understand very much either that you have to build the brand before you promote it. But that's what we mean when we talk about the deep dive that's necessary, the actual building of the brand before you begin to promote it. Because when you don't take the time to actually build your brand thoughtfully, the end result is that you have no choice but to market like everyone else, with a logo, a tagline, a photo, but no real depth or definition to the brand. And when your marketing just looks like so many others in your industry, well, that turns into a lot of wasted time, wasted money, and wasted effort in your marketing.
Yeah, trust me, I did it for 20 years until I met Tanya. So let's recap it. The two common mistakes that people make when building their brand, okay, is they don't actually build it. They just get a few elements up together and they think this is my brand. And number two, they confuse building a brand with promoting a brand.
Yep.
Promoting a brand grows a brand, right? But you haven't built it. It's not going to build it for you. And if you'd like to avoid these two mistakes and many more that a lot of people make, if you would like to get it to where you actually can track the money that you're making with your marketing dollars, we cover these topics and a lot more in a free guide. It's the ultimate guide to a profitable personal brand, and you can find it at brandfaceguide.com.
And remember, a profitable personal brand will help you change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
Yep. Until next time, friends, we say be bold.